Good day everyone. We are now on our finals and for sure you have learned a lot throughout the whole duration. Starting from introducing ourselves and sharing our personal stories to answering forums and even communicating in virtual means. And for sure, with the guidance of our instructor, she helps us incorporate those lessons in real life, and I hope that we can apply this in dealing dilemmas in life. I hope so. And with all those readings and lectures, I think it's about time that I too shall share my understanding on the philosophical formulation number 3, specifically Aristotle's Doctrine of the Mean. Guys, this is just a heads up, but I'm not really good at expressing myself verbally, but I hope that you can still understand my discussion. Before anything else, I just would like to share to you that what I'm wearing right now, this Ateneo shirt, is actually intentional. I plan to wear this even before recording because I want to relate the culture of magis, the culture to do more, and relate it to my report on Aristotle's Doctrine of the Mean. Now, as Athenians, we have developed to ourselves the attitude to strive for more, to do what is more than required, to do the magis. And it's a good practice. In fact, it helps us, including me, to become better students and better persons. But I have a question. What if a student is doing things too much? Or that student is doing things too less? Is it wrong or morally unethical? When do we say that this and that are enough? What is the perfect balance? So as we go along with my discussion, I hope you get to know the answers. Aristotle's Doctrine of the Mean has something to do with virtues. We ask ourselves, how do we achieve a virtuous life? According to Aristotle, virtue is a quality of perfection. Again, a quality of perfection. What do we mean when we say that a virtue is a quality? Aristotle said that virtue as a quality is an abstract feature or attribute of a being. It is not something we can hold in our hands, or it is not a tangible thing nor physically formed. Therefore, it is an abstract. It only becomes physical if and only if that quality is found in a concrete being. That means that quality is not physical unless it is embodied by a physical being. And what about perfection? Remember, Aristotle said that virtue is a quality of perfection. Here, the perfection means that it is not something too much or too less. It is perfect. It is balance. For example, I ask you, what makes a human unique from other living beings such as plants or animals? If you answer that what makes human unique is the ability to think, the ability to reason out, or the ability of human to apply practical wisdom in dealing situations and making decisions, then you are correct. The quality of human to reason out and apply practical reason makes us and gives us perfection. Because if we cannot do so, then something is lacking in us. That means we are not perfect. And if such quality, the ability to reason out, is at its best quality of perfection, then we achieve excellence, or in the Greek word, we call it arete. So, if we say that a person cannot decide based on reason, then something is lacking with him. That is not a perfection, but rather an imperfection. When we say of arete in a person, it means that it is not something excessive or lacking of something. Thus, it cannot be a surplus or a deficit quality of a person. In such case, if a person is lacking or deficit, then he does not achieve excellence or arete. Thus, he is not living a virtuous life, because as we mentioned, virtue is a quality of perfection. And that is the concept of Aristotle's doctrine of the mean. Is it complicated? Perhaps it would be nice if I tell you a story to understand more of what I'm saying, right? So lend me your attention. One afternoon, there were 3 friends who were grouped by the instructor to make a project proposal in order for them to pass the subject. Their names were Lee, Min, and Ho. The teacher further instructed that the deadline is 2 weeks from now, so they have to do their project as soon as possible. The 3 talked and decided that they will meet tomorrow in the library at exactly 3 p.m. because everyone is free by then. The next day, Lee arrived an hour earlier, while Min arrived just in time. However, Ho came so late and arrived 4:30 p.m. Prior to the arrival of Ho, it means Ho is not yet here. Min was waiting so patiently and was so understanding that maybe something happened to Ho and he has his reasons for being late. Meanwhile, Lee was so mad, saying that Ho's just so lazy and no words of commitment. He was impulsively saying offensive words. He was really annoyed. So, when Ho arrived, the 2 asked, "Why are you late? We agreed to meet exactly 3 p.m. but you are an hour and a half late. Where were you?" Sadly, Ho responded that he was just tired and he felt lazy, so he intentionally decided to come in late. So in this story, who do you think is living a virtuous life? And who do you think is in excess? Or who is in deficit? I hope by now you know that being patient is a virtue, which is in the story is embodied by Min. He did not act impulsively and aggressively, rather he patiently waited and was so understanding of the situation. However, Lee was in the excess because he was acting rashly, so aggressive, while Ho is the deficit because he was lazy. So, in conclusion, the guiding principle of Aristotle's doctrine of the mean, that in order to live a virtuous life, one should not act in extremes or excess. Thank you for listening, and I hope you understand something from my report.